to another episode of Disqualified in our vacation setup. I am your NXT Predictions Champion, Trevin, joined as always by our main roster Predictions Champion, Caleb.
Hola!
And Zach, as always, is behind the camera.
Hello.
And Gordon, our editor-in-chief, is also behind the camera. You might hear some comments from him later.
Or him typing.
Yeah, we are here to talk about Monday Night Raw. Sorry for missing SmackDown, but nothing really happened.
No, it did change to 2 hours. They need to relearn how to do 2 hours.
Yeah, it was. We're going to give you a quick promo.
To set up a match and then immediately go into said match.
Yeah, very, very bad format. The only notable thing is Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair are added to the Evolution Fatal 4-Way Tag Match.
Which we'll find out the other ones tonight.
Yeah, so we start with Seth Rollins, BBL as we call them, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, and the Oracle, Paul Heyman.
Yep.
That was a voice crack on the Oracle.
Eh.
But yeah, so Seth gets the mic. He's about to start talking.
And snatched.
That dog wants to bark, and what does the dog bark out, Trevin?
He barks that he doesn't get why the crowd and the audience is so in love with Sammy. He's pathetic. He's been beaten down before by him even, and he's like, you're cheering a man who has basically nothing to his name. We are the future of this company. Seth himself says I can be the face you crave for 20 years, and yet you deny and deny and deny it but yet you cheer a man who doesn't have much left in him. So how about I put him out of his misery? Sammy, I know the type of person you are. Get out here right now so I can beat the snot out of you.
And nothing. Seth grabs the mic and he goes to speak, and he decides, you know what? I'll let Bronson speak.
Well, first he asks, you good, Braun?
Yeah.
And then
he hands it off to Bronson.
Yep. Which I commented while watching. It's like, I like this because it helps defeat the he's not the Roman allegations. Because Roman would not let his underlings say a word.
Yes, this is very true. This is very true. But Bronson goes on to say pretty much that he is going to beat Jey Uso tonight, and he's going to beat him down to a pulp. And he said that the reason why he's even in the group to begin with is because he's tsunami'd Seth Rollins 6 times, and that earned his respect enough to give him a slot in this little group.
Yep. And before the show, we also got reminded that it was revealed in a social media segment that Seth does have a match against Penta in our main event. So all 3 members have a singles match.
But this is not all the talking that the group does. Paul Heyman does go on to say that Seth Rollins does have the match with Penta, and that he is going to beat him. It's going to be a decisive victory. And then Seth finally gets the mic and he says, well, all that said is needed to be said except for one thing.
Welcome to Monday Night Rollins.
Mic drop, and they leave. So,
Yep.
what a good opening promo.
Yeah.
They killed it. Braun Breaker came out with a purpose. Bronson delivered on the mic. Paul Heyman, of course, he maestro the mic. And Seth Rollins, he didn't say anything.
No, he opened the show and reminded him that I own this brand.
Yeah.
If not the entire company.
Yeah, so now we get into our opening contest of the evening. And Trevin, what is our opening contest?
It's between 2 matches and I'm forgetting which one. I believe it was the women's one, right? Or was it the...
I believe it was Kyrie and Roxanne.
I can double check through the website real quick. Give me 1 sec.
If it wasn't Kyrie and Roxanne. It was
Sammy and Braun, but wait.
I think it was Kyrie and Roxanne.
Yeah, give me 1 sec.
It was Kyrie and Roxanne. Yeah, so it was Kyrie and Roxanne because we cut to the Judgment Day clubhouse
Yep.
and we see they are holding a eulogy for Liv
No.
Morgan.
No. They clarify it's not a eulogy. It's a special, away from Pookie shrine for Dom.
It's a eulogy.
There was a choice of flowers and candles.
So Roxanne is saying that, it's just for Dom to help him, think of Liv, to keep his
Yep.
mind occupied. And
And it's
Raquel
like,
basically says, look, the only person that needs to keep their mind occupied
is you, so you can deal with Kyrie tonight, and then immediately pivot to making sure you don't cost us these titles on Sunday.
Yep. And Roxanne says, you know what? I'll go deal with that right now, partner.
Yep. And then,
It cuts to the men.
yep, and Dom's like, hey guys, by the way, thanks for the cake. It really means a lot. And Finn and JD look at each other being like, was that you? That wasn't me. At the exact same time, it's like, yeah, these two are a tag team. These two are a tag team.
Yeah, they're like, we didn't get the cake.
Yeah, and then
And-
Dom is like, well, if you didn't get it, then who did? Wait, it says, get well soon, Dom, from AJ.
And AJ is peeking around the corner like my responsibilities and my bills when I buy something that I do not need.
He does the I got my eyes on you. Dom immediately scrambles for his doctor's note, and AJ is gone.
Gone with the wind.
And he's like, hey, you can't touch me. I'm not cleared. He goes to lick some of the frosting, gives a little head nod of like, dang, this cake actually good.
And now we get to our opening contest. Kairi Sane and Roxanne Perez of the Judgment Day and one half of your women's tag team champions.
Yee.
Currently.
Thanks to the Freebird rule.
Yeah, so this match cooked.
Yep. Real good opener, real good selection. A little thing that I will comment though is that as of her main roster call up, Roxanne has been struggling hitting the pop rocks.
Yep,
Which, I don't hate.
they're probably saving it for Evolution.
Yeah. But it's still a bona fide banner. They are pulling stuff out of their bag. Raquel does help Roxanne a little bit. She's like, you know what? You are my tag partner for now. I gotta help you a little bit to keep you on my side. And, you know what? It does help a little bit, but Kyrie does get the upper hand eventually. I forget what she hits. Wasn't it a roll-up?
It was an insane elbow.
Oh yeah, it was an insane elbow for the 1, 2, 3, which triggers the guard dog instinct of Raquel.
And they start jumping Kairi Sane until you know who comes out. None other than the Empress of Tomorrow, former WWE Women's Champion,
And
former
former
two-time tag team champion with this certain individual. It is Asuka.
Yup. She comes out helping her fellow Kabuki warrior, and they beat the snot out of these two.
And it is confirmed. The final two teams in the Women's Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Championship match.
Confirmed over social media before the show, your NXT reps will be none other than Zaruka. But tonight, with Adam Pearce announcing it right in front of them as they asked for a little grudge bout,
It is the Kabuki Warriors.
which means your tag fatal 4-way at Evolution is your champions representing the Judgment Day, Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. Your SmackDown representatives being none other than Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Your NXT reps being, one half of it being your double champ holding the Speed and North American Championship, Sol Ruka and Zarya, aka Zaruka. And now, finally representing Raw, the Kabuki Warriors, represented by Asuka and Kairi Sane.
I thought they were going to hold off on putting the Kabuki Warriors together for a little bit.
We thought for sure this was going to be the premiere of the Dungeon Dolls, but nah. These 8 women are gonna cook.
That match is going to cook. That match is going to cook. I can't think of, I can only think of one person in there that I'm, not hypest to see, but that's about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be a very, very, very good match.
Yeah.
And Evolution just proves to become harder and harder to predict every day that goes by.
Yep. And now we move on to who we thought was possibly out, especially after last week, but tonight he decides, nah, I still got a little gas. It is one Sami Zayn getting interviewed by Kat Kelly.
Nope.
Or Jackie Redmond.
Jackie Redmond.
Sorry. Yeah, Jackie Redmond to beat, and she's like, Sammy, you sure you want to go out there? I mean, your ribs are taped up, and the place has yet to locate Karrion Kross. You sure you want to go out there and face the man that is Braun Breaker? And Sammy's like, you know what? Bringing up a good point about Kross. I know he's lurking. I know he's looking for his opportunity to strike again. But you know what? I got some beef with that group. I gotta settle it, even if it costs me. So he decides to go out there. And before Braun's music hits, fuck!
Karrion Kross just murdered a man on my television.
Yep. Grabbing a much bigger metal pipe, whacking him in the ribs, security and the Raw board drag him out of there.
Pierce throws that pipe almost into the crowd. That could have been so bad.
Yes. And Sammy walks all the way to his corner despite protests from Pierce during commercial break, and he's like, dude, are you sure? And Sammy's like, I want this match. I need this match. I need to send the message. And Pierce looks at the med team already out there being like, are you going to clear him? And they're like, technically he's good to go. And Pierce is like, dun, dun, dun.
Braun Breaker approaches, and the dog has been let off the leash.
And,
And like he said,
ear to ear grin.
this is a mauling. Sammy gets, count them, two things of offense in.
Before he eats an elevated spear while he went for one of his top rope
Double axe handle.
double axe handle. He gets speared midair.
And then he rolls to the outside.
Tries to roll out the outside for a breather, but Braun's like, nah, that's my playground. Locomotive spear into the prime station a little bit
Throws Sammy back into the ring.
to eat a super spear, top speed. Bah!
1, 2, 3. Sami Zayn has been murdered on my TV.
Because after this match, we get a little backstage segment before Bronson's match, which Braun's a little upset that Karrion came out to attack Sammy because he's like, I feel like it takes away from my brutality from that victory, because some people might say I needed Kross to hit him with the pipe beforehand, and Seth is like, no. That man didn't get any offense in. You hit him with 3 spears. You did your job. You did what you said you were going to do. And then Paul Heyman walks in, and it's like, guys, I got some news.
Sami Zayn
is out of
indefinitely.
Yep, out of action indefinitely. And
that's what happened when I was on the toilet?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what happened when you were on the toilet.
And all 4 men start laughing, being like, that's 1 enemy down, 2 more to go.
Seth is like, no, they're all laughing, and Seth looks at Bronson and he's like, "Why are you laughing?
Yep.
Your job's not done."
Yep. We still got 2 more to go. I know I can do my job. Go do yours.
And it is that match next, I believe, right?
I will double check real quick.
Or do we get the women's IC
Uh, we get the IC promo because before the IC promo,
the
already-
New Day.
yeah, are in mourning and they're asking for a rematch. But Adam Pearce is already conversating with the Warriors, being like, "Hold up. Why should your rematch clause get respected when you said while you were champs, newer talent, newer teams should get a shot, and no team should automatically get a rematch." And the New Day's like, "Nah, that's not what we necessarily meant."
The Raw tag circuit consists of 4 tag teams that are on TV at a regular basis. The New Day, the Judgment Day. Funnily enough, both 2 teams have Day in their name. The War Raiders, and
The Creed
the
brothers.
Creed Brothers. Meanwhile, SmackDown has 6 to 7 tag teams just going at it.
Yep, they just added a 7th team trying to officialize Rey Fenix and Andrade as a team.
Raw, what are you doing? The best booked title on your show is the title we are about to talk about with this promo, with the title holder coming up because she approaches the New Day and say, "You know what?
I'm sorry for your loss.
I'm sorry for your loss.
I'm sorry
and,
for your loss.
And you know what? I'm glad you kicked Big E out. He was a scumbag," and leaves.
Yep.
So Becky approaches the ring and she says, "Look, I don't understand why
Two
two
losers
who
get a
lost
match with me."
against each other last week get a match against me." And this prompts Bayley to come out.
Which prompts Lyra to come out without Bailey even saying a word. And she's like, Becky, it is official. You've become delusional. You are a bucket full of crazy.
Yep. But yeah, so Lyra calls Becky a bucket full of crazy. Bailey then interrupts Lyra, saying, "Look, I know that you're upset because I didn't get back to you at Mania." And then Lyra goes, "Oh, look, she's
talking to me. She's actually having a conversation with
I'm
me.
so lucky."
And Bailey's like, "Why can't you get over it?" It's like, yes, I'm sorry I didn't get back to you, but you decided to immediately hop with Becky, and look what that cost you. It cost you the tag champ, and it cost you the IC champ. And Lyra counters with, "Listen, look, I was desperate. At least I didn't call Becky. She called me, trying to offer me a solution." And
Becky, like any good player when it comes to a good party strategy game, politics her way out of a bad situation. She
She's
goes like, "Look, there was no hesitancy in your voice when you agreed. So let that be what it is, Bailey."
yep. And then Lyra's like, "Look, yeah, I admit I was desperate, but Bailey, you've just proven you're as much desperate as it is. I mean, you just verbally said you want to end this friendship, and you're just going on improving your character is. You have 0 friends when it comes to the title picture. You claim you want to make friends. You're here to help people out, but as soon as it comes to gold, you walk away."
Yeah, and she says you are just like Becky, which prompts
Squabbles!
a squabble. Lyra goes to hit Bailey. Bailey ducks. Lyra hits Becky. Bailey goes for a move. Lyra throws Bailey out the ring, hits her with the mid rope drop kick.
Yep.
Bailey goes to hit Lyra. Lyra hits Becky with a Nightwing.
Yep.
And then Bailey goes to hit Lyra with what looks like a rose plant. Lyra counters.
Nightwing.
Nightwing doesn't
Yep.
raise the belt.
Nope. Picks up the belt and moves to Becky, being like, "Look, this is the last time you will get to see this title, and also the last time I raise your hand." And she raises it a little bit to slam Becky right down, lays the belt back on Becky, and stands tall.
Yeah.
Why is Evolution one of the hardest cards to predict?
Probably because there was no real build-up story-wise to it. This is the only match that's had like real build-up story-wise, other than Naomi and Jade.
Yeah.
Also, the women's IC belt is the best booked belt on Raw right now.
Yeah.
I guess the men's IC would be second. Because I like what they're doing with Dom and AJ.
Yeah.
Considering Dom's limitations on his ribs right now.
Yeah.
But the men's world title, I'm not really feeling Gunther Goldberg.
I'm not really feeling Gunther, period.
Oh no, I think
Better
Gunther's
not be
back in
feeling
his. I think Gunther's back in his like perfect form, but they don't. They're trusting him with Goldberg, but Goldberg's not one of the current big guys. They need to use him with other big names on the current day roster, other than a Damian Priest and a Finn Balor.
Yep.
But now we move on to, I believe it's Bronson Reed and Jey Uso.
Yep.
Yeah, so Yeet Man comes out in no pants.
Yep. He is wearing basketball shorts and knee pads.
And the Dominic Mysterio special of t-shirts around your waist. Like, not wearing, but just hanging around your waist.
I don't hate the basketball shorts, honestly. Like, it fits his character. It's sort of a vibe, sort of an aesthetic. I don't mind it. The shirt was a little distracting, especially because it did come into play where he basically used it as a sticky hand to set it up for a move, because it got caught on his wrist wraps.
Yeah, Bronson Reed comes out, and then we get this match immediately starting, and it was a pretty decent match.
Yeah.
It lasted about 5 minutes.
Yep, because Jay's setting up to potentially put Bronson through the table, which means one of the commentators' rolly chairs got moved out of the way. Bronson counters the lift up, but Jay super kicks Bronson right into the chair. Super kicks him again to flip the chair, and he's like, well, I'm going to try to do something I know I can do in my repertoire. Rolls back into the ring, goes for the suicide dive.
Fuck out of here!
Which causes the DQ as Bronson uses the chair.
Look, Jessica Carr, the chair just happened to be floating there in that moment in time. That's completely incidental. There's no DQ to be seen. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yep, but as the chair woozied Jay a little bit, Bronson still has enough gas to be like, I came here to do one thing and one thing only.
And it's, ladies and gentlemen, not one,
But
two.
two.
Tsunamis!
Yeah. Ow.
Yeah, my body, as Kevin would say in 2K.
My body.
Yeah, and no one comes out to save Jay.
No, just management and security coming out to make sure Bronson doesn't hit a third.
Yep.
They're like, please don't.
And
Like, we will shield the man, but we would not like a 330-pound man to hop on us.
yeah, and then we get, I believe it was a backstage promo.
We missed a couple, but the immediate next thing is actually,
El Grande's match.
yep,
Okay, but there is a backstage promo earlier that we didn't get to. It's when
Yep.
Kabuki Warriors got announced as part of the tag team
yep.
Fatal 4-Way.
American
Ivy Nano
made.
is in the Battle Royal, but
Yep.
there was
American
talk
made.
about
Yeah.
Okay.
Sans Chad Gable are like, so we know Chad's out, so we're looking for opportunity. But the first we want to ask is, how is El Grande in action? And he's like, look, he asked for the match himself. And Adam Pearce is like, look, he asked for the match himself. As the booker, I just decided, sure.
Brutus goes, that's stupid. That can't be.
Because Chad just exited
He's like,
surgery.
Chad's injured.
Yeah.
And Adam's like, well, why would Chad being injured have to do anything with El Grande?
Because he's El Grande Americano.
He's like, because it's so obvious that Chad Gable is. And Julia smacks him.
And Caleb's comment was hilarious.
How is the dumb one the smart one in this situation?
Yes, but that's when Ivy's like, look, we're not here to argue about Chad or El Grande. I want to be in the Battle Royale at Evolution. And Adam Pearce was like, okay. I mean, I already signed off on it, so sure, you're in. You could have just led with that. And Ivy's like, oh, cool.
Fine. He's like, you
Thanks.
happy? She's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And leaves.
Yeah, and
It
I'm
was
like,
she was just like, oh,
I'm shocked.
this has never happened before.
I usually have to ask for ish.
Yeah. So we
Good
get
on you, Adam.
El Grande Americano
Versus Dragon Lee. Run it back.
No, don't run it back.
No, I'm
But-
saying this is a run back of not only their little bouts on the main roster shows, but also a little revenge trip, as they mentioned that El Grande is the one who took the speed title off of Dragon Lee in the speed circuit, exclusively on Twitter. Yes, I still call it Twitter. Come at me.
You got this one, bud. I'm taking the time out. This hurts my head.
I'll just skip to the end of the match. Dragon Lee showcases his bag a lot. The man under El Grande's mask, Ludwig Kaiser, obviously doesn't know how to try to replicate Chad Gable's moveset under the El Grande's gimmick, except for the finisher being a flying metal plate enhanced headbutt for the 1-2-3.
The only good part about Ludwig taking over this gimmick
Is
the flying headbutt, the running diving headbutt is way better than Chad's.
yeah. Everything else felt awkward. They were commenting like the mask don't look right.
Even though the mask fits Ludwig's head better than it does Gable's, because Gable's there's a lot of space in the mask,
Yeah.
especially the face area.
But the promo that happens after this match, I'm like, please let this man comment on this situation, because I want to see this man beat the snot out of his friend to be like, why? Why'd you agree to this?
It's Gunther! And he comes out and he says, look, this weekend I have to fight Goldberg. And here comes Goldberg. Goldberg.
And he comes out unequipped with the mic. Gunther goes to relift the mic to his mouth. Out of his hand. And he's like, no. Time for words is over, little man. Right here, right now. Let's give these guys a little preview. Come on. Back up what you're saying.
And it looks like Gunther is going to get hit with a spear. He ducks out.
Yep. Goldberg did punch Gunther clean in the jaw, which dazed the F out of Gunther. A single punch sets up for the spear, rolls out, and Gunther is staggering his way back to Gorilla, being like, and commentary comments like, that was one punch from Goldberg. Imagine an entire match worth of offense from that man. And Michael Cole, of course, reminds him that in the interview he had with Goldberg, he did ask, you claim this is your last match, but what happens if you do win the title off Gunther? And Goldberg's only answer was, wouldn't that be something?
Goldberg matches usually take less time than it takes me to microwave one of those Easy Macs. Like one of those Kraft macaroni and cheese to go bowls. That takes like 3.5 minutes.
Goldberg was at least a lot less sweaty this time.
Because he practically drove up in like he wasn't there all day doing shit.
Yeah.
But next, I believe we get our main event.
I believe so. Let me double check.
I don't believe there was another match on this card.
Yeah, no, it is our main event.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is our main event of the evening. It is Seth Rollins versus Penta for the first time.
Yep, and I commented, like, it's crazy how they gave Penta a match against Seth before they gave Gunther a match against Seth.
Yeah. That is something, man. It's something.
Yep. But, hey, this match cooked.
Oh, yeah. It cooked.
Absolute cinema.
These two need to run it back sometime soon in the near future.
Yep.
There wasn't really a lot of high spots.
It was just a good basic moveset match. Like, Seth, for the first time in a while, I think since his steel cage match against Punk, did hit a buckle bomb, which was cool. But it was immediately no-sold into a Mexican destroyer, into Seth staggering to the corner. Penta going for the pin into a 1-2 hand on the rope, which was a sick spot.
Yep. And, it just catches up with Penta. He just can't keep up because Rollins, while he's getting up to his knees, headbutts Penta in the groin.
Yep, Penta looks like he was preparing for another Penta bomb.
Penta driver.
Penta driver, yeah. Seth just shuffling a little bit to, use the back of his head to headbutt the groin. And then he
smiles in the camera, that Joker smile.
Yep.
Stomp.
1, 2, 3.
And Heyman is immediately saying, now,
get out here now.
We're like, who is it? Who is it? Of course,
BBL.
it's none other than BBL Drizzy. No, wait, sorry, not Drake. He didn't show up.
No.
It is BBL, Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker, but the crowd,
It's cheered.
they're stirring.
They're stirring.
Something's happening.
And
earlier in the show, Paul Heyman notes Roman doesn't have the balls to stop us, so could it be? Could it be? Nope. It's, yeah, man. He hits a BFT and that man is out.
See ya. And he's like, I told you, you mess with me, you're gonna eat dirt with everyone saying L.A. Knight.
Yeah. But as Bronson and Braun are running him out of the building, Braun
L.A.
trips-
Knight. Yeah, L.A. Knight smacked the big prime bottle out of there, and it tripped Braun Breaker.
Braun went fucking over the barricade, and he
Yep.
was just.
And
stuck
Bronson
there
was
for a
like,
second.
"Hey, yo, you good?"
But yeah, and that's how the show ends, with Seth on the ground and LA Knight in the crowd.
Yup.
Everyone's here, and he's definitely getting traded. He's definitely getting moved.
He's
over to
moving
Raw.
from SmackDown to Raw. SmackDown has nothing left for him. He ran the U.S. circuit. He got trapped in the Bloodline vortex. And I fear that he is just not ready. Or I was going to say he's not quite ready for the world title picture, but I remembered he kind of is ready. It's just that the world title picture on SmackDown is held hostage by one John Cena.
Yep, and that's it for this episode of Monday Night Raw. It was pretty good overall. I mean, a lot of stuff happened. Set up Evolution and Saturday Night's main event happening this week.
Despite
tomorrow on NXT as of recording, it will be Ava announcing the women's participants for the Evolution Battle Royal.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's main roster and NXT or just NXT.
Yeah, no. I think it's just who will be the NXT guest. Not 100%. Don't quote me on it.
But yeah, and that is it for this episode of Disqualified. I am your main roster predictions champion, Caleb. I am your first two-time main roster predictions champion, by the way. This one right here. This one will be on the line at Evolution.
Yep.
And not only this, but a special time, for the first time, a point for this will be defended at Evolution.
Yep.
Because at the Great American Bash, which happens the night before Evolution, This title will be on the line.
However, a NXT title is being defended on Evolution, so that will be possibly a saving point, possibly a winning point, possibly a point that might not even matter. It depends on how we predict. But that belt will be on the line at the Great American Bash on Saturday / the single match between JC Jane and Jordan Grace on Evolution.
So it is a double title week for us here at Disqualified.
For the first time since Mania.
We could see both of these belts changing hands. One changing hands. We could see the second double champ. Who knows?
We could
Who
see
knows?
a second two-time champ.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
The second, third champ. Triple
Ooh.
champ.
But that is also Zach behind the camera, our cameraman and producer. And that is Gordon, our editor-in-chief back there behind the camera. And be sure to like. Tell us what you thought of the episode down below. Subscribe and ring that bell 3 times so you know the match is over. And we will talk to you next time. Thank you for your time and peace.
Bye!